People who lost their job due to this crisis. What is your story? I'm a housekeeper at a hotel. Last week they cut our hours from 40 to 32. I was just informed that tomorrow they are shutting down the hotel. Front desk, sales team, and bartenders are being laid off for the time being. Housekeeping will now work 24 hours a week for 2 weeks to deep clean the hotel. But who knows after that? I'm a housekeeper in Maine. I found out Thursday that I am being laid off indefinitely. Thursday I had a job. Friday I didn't. In 1 week, I lost both of my jobs. I worked at my university and a hotel. Had to move out of my apartment, can't pay my $800 rent. Landlord not helping. And had to switch to online learning as a music major. No way in hell will that work. It's 4:58 in the morning. I woke up from a nightmare. And woke up in a nightmare. Edit because a couple people decided they should attempt to save me from a music major. I'm a music education major. Please mind your business. I'm not looking for career advice. I haven't been laid off. But I answer for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and we are having so many calls where someone is thinking about killing themselves because they were laid off. This virus is causing so much damage. And there's never enough resources. Hey. I also answer calls for Lifeline and the Disaster and Distress Helpline. It's peeping rough on the lines right now. Sending you lots of support and love. I've called you people. A call I'll never forget. The help is why I'm here today. Thank you. I was a bartender. The bars and restaurants were shut down. I was actually relieved because, not gonna lie, I was afraid of dealing with so many people and all the glasses. People would have just kept coming too if the state hadn't shut us down. You're right. No doubt they would have kept coming in. Our governor just scolded the community because while the bars and restaurants were closed as of Monday, he stated that he didn't want social gatherings of more than 50 people. So of course, there is a park/playground area in a part of town that actually has a higher concentration of virus confirmations. And just yesterday all of these families took their kids to this park. People stated there were probably 200 cars in the parking lot and tons of children and adults hanging out together. The state police eventually shut it down. However, it caused the governor to now take more drastic actions and ended up closing other facilities that were still open to the public. And now, only groups of 10 or less allowed, and he's enforcing this rule by law now. He was visibly pissed. My experience is pretty unique. In a nutshell, my wife and I live in New Zealand and had planned a 2-year working visa in Toronto. We were supposed to leave in April. So we had obviously already handed in our notices of resignation to our bosses. Long story short, Canada shut its borders and my boss has already hired my replacement. As a side note, they shut the borders on my birthday. F&B manager at a large hotel. GM and HR gave me a list of employees to call and inform them that they would all be furloughed. It was the hardest thing I've had to do in my life. I had to stop halfway through the list just to sit in my office and cry. I had to encourage grown men and women that everything would work out and be okay when I had no idea myself if or when it would be. I went to work this morning. Worked my normal 10 hours. Then I was laid off at the end of the day. I cried again on the way home. Jesus, this is heartbreaking to read. My husband got laid off on Tuesday. He works about 3 minutes down the road from my work. He showed up at my work with tears in his eyes, apologizing to me for not doing good enough to be kept. He works at a car dealership as an auto technician, where they let go of 4 techs that day cause of decreasing business. They're letting go of more people this Saturday. My brother is a mechanic there, and is scared to lose his job too. They told my husband that when business picks back up, they might call and ask him to come work for them again. Thankfully, I work in the lab of a hospital, so my job is pretty secure. I keep telling my husband that we'll get through it, but I know it's taking a toll on him. I've read through dozens of these posts, and they're all heartbreaking. But we will all come out the other end for the better. I hoping for anyway. Having said that, as a former tech, I'd say good riddance to the industry. I know that sounds incredibly insensitive because it was income. I know and I get it. But the auto industry, specifically dealerships for techs, is a hellhole. And the audacity to say they might hire him back. Please. I feel for him because I know that feeling of I wasn't good enough to keep around. But if he feels that much sorrow over it, means he put his heart into it. Someone like him needs to get into a career where he's valued. And that's certainly not tech life. Wishing the best for the both of you. Hoping someday to come back and read he's kicking ass at whatever he's doing. I worked at a specialty custom cake shop. My bosses are a brother and sister that own the business. They have been terrified of COVID-19 since it started in January and have been throwing around the idea of closing ever since then. When all the employees would panic and ask what would happen to us if you close, they would just say don't worry about it. We will figure it out. Last week we got an email giving us 6 days notice that we will be closed for the following month with partial pay. By the time we reached the final day we would be open before the month of closing. They told us that we were actually being laid off. The partial pay for the month would be severance and they are unsure of when they will open. They act like this is only temporary. But I know that they are refusing custom cake orders all the way until August. They also make no promises to be able to hire us back after they reopen later this year since they may not be able to afford it. My mom works in vacation rentals doing housekeeping. She's 61, diabetic and has COPD, and lives in a state that has mandatory shutdown of all non-essential businesses. When she was informed they'd be laying people off, but also staying open, she told them she's afraid of getting coronavirus and they laid her off so she could collect unemployment and continue to pay her bills while staying home safe. Construction. The whole construction site was laid off. And with the way things are going, the company owner thinks it'll be at least a year before they consider hiring me back. Started 3 months ago. And that's at least 50 other people affected. Just for this site. The company had several other sites that they laid off employees too. I'm just lucky I'm still living with my parents. And Dad works as online IT for the general public. So he's nice and busy. Edit. Sign everyone and their dog is asking. I'm in Canada. Alberta. The site I was on was shut down by the owner. Beyond that, I don't know. And thanks to the bunch of you that offered to help/hire. I was kinda surprised at that. I haven't lost my job. But my small software company instituted 30% pay cut across the board. They say it'll be reevaluated every month. Clients keep canceling or postponing projects. So I'm good this month. But could easily lose it next month. I'm just happy they decided to cut pay instead of fire 30% of the workforce. So everyone can keep their health coverage. That, and I'm not sure I wouldn't have been part of that 30%. Yeah.